go to my share screen so I'll show you where we manufacture them.
Okay, that'd be great. Why don't we go ahead and launch since you can.
So we are Gordon, an international company. We have shipping products all over the world right now, but we're a Dallas home office based company. So this is our facility in Dallas, and this is one of 1 million square feet. We've got several factories in the USA. We have our own factory and our own workers in China, and we have our own factory and own workers in Taiwan. And so we make products all over the world. I'll tell you a story, Gordon. We manufactured 25,000 of these technologies for the year 2020 at the beginning of the year. When this whole craziness hit, we sold all 25,000 units in 1 week in February. It was all hands on deck. All the manufacturing facilities fired up. We had to get, parts from all over the world, but we've been working 24/7 since the beginning of 2020 and grew 1,200% in 2020. And we think we're going to grow 2,000 to 3,000 with the demand.
Yeah, good.
The CDC, Gordon, said, by the way, I'm working with lots and lots and lots of churches. I've got a church that began a big movement in Tampa. It's called the River Church. Dr. Rodney Brown is the pastor there. He's the pastor that the government came and took off the podium in handcuffs during a church service for having church. They put 16 of these technologies in their church, and they've been, we're leaving you alone. It looks like everybody's pretty safe in this facility. The CDC says, J.K. Baker and Jeff Smith, that the single most ineffective way to solve the problem is gloves and mask and sanitizer, PPE. That's a solution, but it's not the best solution. Change the way people work. Don't let them go to work. Make them work from home. The problem, according to the CDC, is remove the physical hazard. In this case, we're talking, Gordon, about specifically SARS-CoV-2, which causes COVID-19. But it doesn't matter. It could be mold and mycotoxins. It could be other contamination. Whatever it is, the best way to solve it is to remove it. We went to NASA, the space organization. I was fortunate about this amazing technology that they developed for the International Space Station. I brought the technology and the documents back to my scientists, and they went to work on it. They fine-tuned it. They improved it. We took the disinfection rate of surfaces and air to 1 hour and 3 minutes. It used to be 72 hours to disinfect a room. Now we're down to 1 hour on surfaces, and it's been called by the Huffington Post one of the top 7 inventions in space for use here on Earth, and landed us, Gordon and Jeff, directly into the Space Technology Hall of Fame. Other companies in the Technology Space Hall of Fame are LASIK surgery, GPS, satellite TV. Our technology has been indoor environments. This is the star of the show. This is a technology that has 2 main strategies inside it. The first strategy is a proprietary form of ions that we developed about 25 years ago. It does exactly what the sun does outdoors. Outdoors, when energy enters the atmosphere, it causes particles to get charged. A nice, beautiful, shiny black car, in about 5 minutes, it got speckles all over it, because outdoors, particles are constantly settling down out of the air. But when we float in the air, positively charged all day long until our kids, our students, our parishioners suck them into their lungs. If they happen to have COVID on them, or moves the particles from the air. The University of Cincinnati, Gordon, did a study for us. This is a peer-reviewed published study. That means that Cincinnati said when you turn this device on, 200 times faster than if you didn't have it turned on. So we make the particles a little bit bigger, we drop them out of the air. Then ActivePure is created is the same thing that nature makes outdoors. microscopic mist of hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide that you can't see, you can't smell, bacteria, or touching a virus, or touching mold. It destroys it immediately. But ActivePure is more than that. It's also hydroxyls, OH1, and superoxides. Guess what you find, Gordon and Jeff, when you go on a mountaintop with fresh, clean air and superoxides? We recreate our strategy, Gordon and Jeff. We prevent infection by real-time disinfection, okay, down into the porous materials and surfaces, the floor, the school desk, the back of the pew, the offering plate, you name it, the door handle. We disinfect, and that causes people to prevent getting infections or the spread. We bring the technology, the technology brings, in this case, we're talking about the SARS-CoV virus. You turn this technology on, and in the air, the airborne SARS-CoV-2 virus becomes we didn't say that, Gordon. The University of Texas Medical Branch, which tests for the U.S. military and the CDC, tested this, JK. They said, we think it's more on contact, but we weren't able to actually do the testing that fast. So we tested at the 3-minute level, but it goes further than that. We went to MRI Global, an independent FDA compliant laboratory. These are the highest levels of study. In your case, in a church, the pews in just hours are totally sanitized and disinfected. The air is disinfected in 3 minutes. Now, companies try old-fashioned strategies. They try old-fashioned strategies to try to solve this new problem. I always say it requires a paradigm shift. Here's what the problem is that they have. They put in, for example, a HEPA filter into their duct system, or they put in freestanding HEPA filters. Here's the problem with that. HEPA filters, number one, we know that the virus, the HEPA filter would fill up in just, but the reality is that coming out of the HEPA filter, you still have the SARS-CoV virus. It does not collect enough to make a big difference. So here's what they say. Well, let's change the air 3 to 5 times an hour. That's to the room, and we will dilute it. Diluting the poison does not work. By the way, Gordon and Jeff, if it did work, why do we have all the fact is it doesn't work. System. Here's the problem with that. A UV light requires that the particle is 2 inches away for about 3 seconds right then. But what happens 2 hours from now? It's right back where it started. And so when the particles are going down the plenum in an HVAC system, they're going at 100 miles. You're going to get a mailbox now and then, but not many. It can't get to them for 2 seconds a few inches away. So the bottom line is those strategies, the air coming out of the HVAC, our technology is exactly opposite, Gordon and Jeff. Our technology doesn't filter anything inside this machine. Week a second. You know what else travels, Gordon, at 1,200 feet a second? Popcorn smell. Imagine popcorn smell in your church. You cook it in the cafeteria, in the microwave. How fast do you smell it down the hall? Instantly. We move with the law of gases, the environment, surfaces, and air. Technology is the best solution in the world today. And that's why yesterday, the Philadelphia school had 500 units. That's why the Palm View School District, where I am right now in Texas, ordered 160 units for their schools and is ordering 72 more today at the board meeting. This technology is easy to prove. You can use an ATP meter, which you use in hospitals to determine sanitary surfaces. Now, this is interesting. You can use an ATP meter in a room, a church, or a school with HEPA filters and with UV lights. You'll get no change. You'll get no change on surfaces because the filter in the HVAC system can't go and clean from my dad's bedroom, Gordon. My dad suffered from asthma for 68 years. He used an inhaler. He was having all kinds of reactions. So we went into his house and we tested it with simple Petri dishes. This is the dish from his bedroom. Mold, bacteria, and viruses. We brought in ActivePure and sanitized his bedroom, and in literally 8 hours, we redid the test and the dish is clean. We can do that every time, every situation, every place. Anywhere air can get, our technology is powerful. It works like this. They can only show you studies that say if a particle went through and got to this UV light, it would disinfect it. They don't talk about the 99% of the stuff in the room that never gets to that UV light or never gets to that HEPA filter. But this technology on in 60 minutes, the coronavirus family is reduced by 99.49s. That's called 6-log kill. DNA log kill. I have a competitor company, a guy that used to work for me. He knocked off my technology and started a little company. Made him clean the website, said you have no proof. They've never done that with our technology. We have irrefutable proof. My CEO was on CNBC TV recently and made this statement. The FDA was listening. We've gone right to the FDA. And percent of MRSA, airborne particles, that's the University of Cincinnati test. It takes the particles out of your church in the air that could carry viruses or mold. And Jeff, if you just take and say, okay, instead of a television remote, this is a television remote in a hotel room. 920 colonies of fungus. 4 hours later, the remote control has 0 contaminants on the remote control. We didn't spray it with spray. We don't have any Lysol. We didn't boil it. This is just ActivePure in the room. So we've got a technology that can make homes safer and healthier. It can impact kids in school. 80% reduction of absenteeism and dismissals in Indiana and Pennsylvania schools with ActivePure installed. Staph infections, 100% effectiveness. And jumping on board, here's an example of some of the schools. This represents maybe 10% of the schools that have installed this technology. The list goes on in this, that the Philadelphia school systems are now opening up because of ActivePure, and there's going to be a big national press release on that. It's a solution that works and makes a difference. Major League Baseball, football, hockey, basketball have caught on. If you have this tech, whoa, don't leave us out. We are powerful oxidizers, where they are then released back into the room, where they seek and destroy DNA and RNA viruses, including SARS-CoV-1, avian bird flu, hepatitis A. This is the toughest virus to kill, period. We kill them all. So we're very proud. We're very excited. We're very encouraged. We think we have a solution, gentlemen, to a worldwide problem, and we'd love to work with your church. I hope I answered the questions about why this is different than putting something into an HVAC system. This is an active technology that moves throughout your churches, cleansing and disinfecting everything it touches. It's just like bringing lots and lots of else that might be a problem.
Sip from a fire hose. Good presentation.
I do have a fire hose I carry around. Sorry.
Just a couple quick things, and we can get into some of the technical details. JK probably has some information, but the one thought would be is the size of the unit, the number of units based on cubic footage of the chart was. We're doing a lot of fresh air circulation, which was indicated was a way of improving it, but I hear you saying that's the dilution there. The units that go in, are there different sizes for different classrooms, et cetera? Or is that information that JK can provide us?
No, I'll be happy to provide it. You're a quick study, Gordon. I can tell you've done your research and that you have some knowledge about what we're talking about here. One unit covers 3,000 square feet. They have them in the main auditorium, they have them in the offices, and they have them in some of the rooms. They have a college there with 500 kids, for example, or offices. And then if they have a big event, like let's say we're going to have Wednesday night church services or Sunday church services, they'll bring 4 or 6 stickers up and signs and little placards that surfaces with ActivePure. like seen on PBS and NASA. So it just depends on the size of the areas. Go back to the pipe right into that room. If you have an office that has a cold air return, it's going to suck it into the cold air return and help move it throughout the entire building. You don't want to be undersized. That would be undersized. You might want to use 2 machines on 5,000 square feet. That would be oversized. But we just want to make sure we get enough which has a backup double ActivePure cell in it. It's no extra cost, but it gives you 2 ActivePure cells. And
about 110,000 square feet on this side of the street, and then our upper school is probably in the just under 30,000 square foot size.
Yeah, so you'd need more than 1 or 2 machines in there. But you know, the bottom line is that we often see companies, churches, schools buying technology. Like in Chicago, they bought $40 million worth of HEPA filters, only to find out that they were going to have to spend nothing to reduce the COVID. And so what we have found, by the way, and this is a little side note, is that we've got these now installed in some assisted living facilities and stuff. And where one patient used to get COVID and everybody did, they're now saying it's completely isolated. They get no other people when you have this technology running, because it kills it. Remember, well, the statement I made: prevention of infection through real-time disinfection. We're real-time disinfecting the air and surfaces. So 3,000 square feet. Sorry for the long answer, Gordon.
That's right. The things is you don't have to service it, but does that break down after a certain number of years? Is it a 5-year, 10-year lifespan?
2 years, you have to replace the ActivePure cell, and it costs under $100 every 2 years to keep the machine running like brand new. The cell is actually warranted for a year. Technology, it will tell you that it's time to change the ActivePure cell. It's 2 thumb screws. Anybody can do it. There's no filters that change, Jeff, but there is it's time to clean off that back screen. You take
that's picking up this
all filled with dust and nasty stuff in there, so we keep the inside of the machine clean. Yes, sir.
What again, I realize it's maybe based on quantity purchase. What's the base cost per unit then of the machine?
So we did a national study, and the average consumer said that 24 multiple units, more than 4, we start providing discounts. Mr. Baker can provide that. But you know, like for example, in the big Philadelphia machines, or 15 machines, or 5,
probably answers most of our questions. JK can give a JK, and you know, I don't consider it something he can't share with other clients. If you give him permission to do that, I'm fine with that too. But
you bet. I thank you, Jeff. Any questions that I could answer for you?
Actually, so did I understand correctly? You're basically doing peroxide, UV, ozone, and hydroxyl. Okay.
Yeah, we don't prescribe ozone except in cases where there's smells or odors, and you need to get rid of an odor or a smell. It's not going to eat up rubber bands or different things in the building. It's not going to cause any over oxidation.
Okay.
The purifier, we're not collecting. We kill the
who are your
3M filter, maybe collect them and zap. So literally see, whoa, this is a filter.
Okay.
Because we thought that was the solution. And this type of air that you got to clean, am I accurate?
With the dilution, but anytime you make this work, but that a lot of reduce COVID in any way, work that way. Work for me. He shot a church that's called the River, and he was killing them. They don't have make themselves out to be something that they're not. They use our name.
Okay, good.
Mistake of dealing with that company. Prices and very, very. That's a church in Tampa. It's a private company. The parent is the owner of the.
There an advantage or a need filters?
Automatically, and if you're trying, HEPA filtration does a great job. Force into a cold air percentage of the actual particles. Technology running. I've got a 22,000 running in there. I had a cold or a flu, and twisters and missionaries have a name in the Bible, Elijah, but or some school folk.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, gentlemen.
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you, Jeff. Mike.
Hi, I'm Dr. Deborah Burks. Some of you all a number of decades. 30 years. I'm excited to announce that I will be a country group that want to make it